The dreaded social media words, which is Snapchat. Snapchat is for people that need, for those of us that need to be in control of people to make sure they are not messing up the world. Snapchat is the devil. For those of you who don't know what it is, you take a photo and it goes away. You get it 10 seconds at a time, but they've also added text to it. So you're also able to message people and it immediately goes away. For troop stuff, absolutely not. Like, we need to be visible 100% with our communication. We can't be communicating or, like, don't even bring it up. Like, don't even bring up the idea of Snapchat. If they're Snapchatting on their own and it's just a photo of a mountain or something, and you're like, okay, that's one thing. If you see somebody, don't bring it up. If it becomes, you will know if it becomes an issue. You will know. Don't bring it up.
Yeah, it usually involves a lot of giggling.
A lot of giggling.
Is it Snapchat or Instagram with stories?
That's Snapchat.
Okay, because I know that that's been pretty popular.
Yeah.
That they build stories that are out there that they can follow. Like there's one on Africa and different areas. Maybe, is that something that could be used?
If the National Council of Boy Scouts of America, if they had a Snapchat story of like Philmont or of like World Jamboree or something, and that was a story, that would be totally fine. As a troop, we don't have the capability the way that organizations, like big organizations do, to make it one fluid story, because they're also filtering out 2 million Snapchats a second. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those stories end up being 12 videos or photos long, and then they're done. It would be the individual boys posting you just don't want that at all.
It'd be like a boy, he had his camera like this, taking a picture of somebody picking their nose and sending it to him. I mean, that's pretty much where you get Snapchat.
Yeah.
And you gotta be careful with that too, because if you know what you're doing, you can save that Snapchat.
Uh-huh.
So the boys are tech savvy, they know how to save that Snapchat. And now they've got that picture forever when it was supposed to just go away.
I'm not saying go run home to your kids and like yell at them for having Snapchat right now, but just for our situation here and what we're using social media for, it's not in our wheelhouse to be dealing with it. Yeah, cool. Really quick, I'm gonna go over some really simple stuff. Just content, I mentioned briefly on it. On social media, the simpler the better. 1 to 3 sentences and 2 photos. You know what I mean? Unless you're in the group and you want to see, like there's a Lefebvre alumni group, and sometimes somebody will upload an entire album of photos from week 3 or week 4 or whatever onto there. That's different because then people can go through each photo. On your page, 1 to 2 photos at most. Keep it nice and simple. There's a really great app called Over. It's a photo editing app, and what we've started to do with it is just put like Troop 540 on the photo, because you can add text to it.
Like a watermark?
Yeah. You can put like a watermark on your photo, or we came up with a specific meal prayer for Devil's Lake, and it was like, oh, we can just make an image of like the boys at Devil's Lake with that meal prayer kind of overlaid onto it. The best thing that I can tell you about Over, play with it. Just download it, play with it. It's a really great app.
So when you say app, you're talking on the phone, on the Macintosh?
On your phone.
Phone.
You might be able to get it for your computer. I'm gonna go home and check that out, because I would love to have it on my computer too. Social media campaigns. You said that we have a Root River one, right? That's great. I follow 3 Harbors on Facebook, and they don't really do a whole lot when it comes to social media campaigns. I wish they did, because like National is out of control when it comes to social media. Like they're really, really good at it. I mean, if we want to get some stuff together for Root River, we're totally able to do that. It's just a matter of putting somebody in charge of that social media campaign. Any questions?
So do you see the Root River one, the Facebook page?
No, I didn't know we had one.
Yeah, we do.
So I will
So,
make sure to like
Why
that.
don't you like
Yes,
that
please
and
like
follow
that.
it? And,
We would like everybody to like our page, because then you get our emails or our
Updates.
postings.
Yeah.
there are only a couple of us who put things on it, or maybe only a couple who are allowed to. Look at it and say, boy, you guys are really screwing up, do it better. And then,
Sure.
let's work with me, okay?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it brings up the question of, where you have the page, who from the district or the district can post to the page? Can anybody post to the
No.
page?
No.
No.
Only John, myself,
Stephen?
Steven, and maybe Tim can post to the
I
page.
think you can only look at it and comment, right?
Yeah, you guys can
Comment.
look at it and make commentary,
I
but
also
we can only post.
have a feeling that Three Harbors is going to get more involved within troop pages themselves as they become more and more popular. Just because I remember when Lyle and Lefebvre had their separate pages, it went from kind of one person randomly taking care of it to them being controlled by council. I doubt that we'll ever have it, like our troop pages being controlled by council, but I think that content and guidelines and stuff like that, they'll pop up a lot more once this becomes bigger. But just to get ahead of the curve and to get that outreach out there to get boys more involved, play around on social media, see what you guys can do about it. I know that I threw a lot of information at you.
How would you suggest to start?
Suggest to start, make a page. No, make a group first. That's what I would say, is groups have really helped me, whether it's a Google group or a Facebook group. It's really helped our troop and communication a lot more.
Back up one step there, because what actually has to be done to make a group is.
You have to make a
an
Facebook.
Individual Facebook page,
Yeah.
and not all of us have one.
So yeah, make sure that you do have a Facebook yourself. That is something I just assume. I just assume everybody's on Facebook in the
So
world.
create a Facebook account.
Create a Facebook account, then create a group.
Some of us have the modern technology.
Sure, yeah, I love it.
Man, I wish I could still get one of those.
Those things are worth big money nowadays.
Yeah, you don't have to walk around with a dinner plate in your pocket.
Yeah.
I know
But
one
you can do it
question,
from your
'cause
computer,
you
Will.
said one thing earlier, and I just wonder what other people do too. I mean, because you guys said you let them have phones at camp too, right? I mean, what do you?
We don't allow them to like.
Well, no, but not to like it, but what do you guys do? What does everybody do about phones at camp now? Truthfully, I mean,
I
You can
don't.
use it to and from, and when on the way up there, our rule is, as we're getting out of the car, you hand your electronics, whatever you are playing with, to the driver. They are locked in the glove compartment, and you can pick them up as soon as the car is moving and leaving camp.
I
That's our
confiscate
rule.
phones.
We used to do the same thing, but I've softened a little bit as a scoutmaster, because what Jacob said, the boys, you don't want them staring at their phone the whole week. You don't want them sitting around a campfire playing on their phone. If I see that, I stop it. But if we're out on a hike and a boy takes a picture and goes on his phone and posts it to his Facebook page, I'm okay with that. I really am. I've softened, we allow them in camp, but we don't allow the boys to overuse them. It's like video games at your house. You don't let the kids play video games the minute they get home from school until they go to bed. You gotta have some guidelines there. But
I only
taking
had
it away from them completely is not the answer.
I've only
I don't
had to
think.
yell at one. Since we've loosened up on this, I have only had to tell one person the entire week at summer camp. I looked at him, I was like, "Get off your phone, what are you doing?" And he was like, "You're right," and just like put his phone away. And it was I think that it's that thing of like when you tell a kid not to do something, they just want to do it, you know? And it's this thing of like, "What are you doing?" That nonchalantness, and they're like,
No, we
You're
did
right.
the same. We let them use phones around camp too, but my always biggest concern is like, especially when we go to summer camp,
Uh-huh,
is the only thing we don't know is if they start texting and calling or if they get homesick, especially the younger ones that have phones. That's always my
Right.
biggest concern is we always have to have a big conversation with the parents that stay behind us. If you think your child is homesick, please let us know so we can deal with it, cause that's the
Yeah.
one thing you lose control of is
Well,
if they're calling home and
If you
texting
wanna,
home.
if you want to reduce your
Homesickness,
boys'
don't take
uses
young
of a
boys.
phone at camp, reinforce this with your parents.
We do.
How big is the camp?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 1,000 acres. Your son's gonna be traipsing around the wood with this $600 phone in his pocket. I got news for you, it can get lost.
That's our true
So-
policy too. We're not responsible for
Yeah,
phones.
we're not responsible for your kid losing his phone.
Or rain.
So don't bring it. Now, that being said, this also has the capability, as somebody pointed out before, it's a GPS device. If they have their phone on them and they get lost, they can turn it on and they can ping the phone and find out where the kid is really, really fast. Instead of putting out a search team for
And